I'm Shanda Hill with Oso Potato Armstrong. I have been an employee of Rancho Vignola for the last 17 years. To stay with a seasonal company that long, there has to be things about the company and the people that you love. I stay because I love the people, but also because they provide a product that has given me nutrition for my body to be able to do the things that I do. I've been an athlete most of my life on and off, but since 2016, I've involved myself in a sport called ultra triathlon. If you're familiar with the typical triathlon as in Ironman, that is the standard distance. Ultra triathlon is any distance over that. So a race being a double, Ironman, triple, and all the way up to a 10, which is called a deca. This fall, I'll be competing in a race in Leon, Mexico, called a double deca. The distance of the swim is 76 kilometers. The bike is 3,600 kilometers, and the run is 844. I was raised by vegan parents. I've never had meat in my entire life. But I think that a whole foods, plant-based way of eating can really give your body the boost that it needs. And having Rancho products around has made choosing and living that lifestyle a lot easier for me as an athlete because I can get the balance in the products that I need. I'm bringing to you today potato corn chowder. It's a vegan base, so it is suitable for just about anybody. The neat thing about this recipe is you can make it up in a small quantity, a large quantity, but having only roughly 5 ingredients makes it accessible to everybody. And it's really nutrient dense. You have your complex carbohydrates, you have your protein with the cashews. My 5 ingredients today are 5 to 6 potatoes, red, golden, white, doesn't matter what you're using, they all work. I've got about 5 cups of corn, cashews, 1.5 cups. I've got a soup stock, which is my veggie soup stock, my go-to. You can pick your favorite soup stock. It can be varied, it does not matter. I've got about 1 cup of that. And for garnish, I have some cut green onions. Now I've peeled and cubed my potatoes. Get your water in your pot boiling and then just pour your potatoes in. The water should just cover them and you can let them boil probably 8 minutes or until tender. I'm going to start with my cashew cream base while the potatoes are boiling. So I'm going to take my 1.5 cups of cashews, put them into my blender. Now the trick with making a really nice cashew cream is to just cover your cashews with enough water that they're just covered. Now you're going to start by blending those, and as they blend, they're going to thicken up. You're going to add smaller amounts of water, but you really want to start by getting a dense cream. So I'm going to reach my spoon in and show you. It's gotten to quite a thick consistency right now as I blended it, but it's still a little bit granular. So I'm going to add a little bit of water and continue blending it. Just watch it, it'll get super thick. Add a couple tablespoons of water until it dilutes it a bit. Okay. So I'll show you the consistency. This is about the consistency that I have right now. So still a very thick cream. What I'm going to do is add a little bit of water and then I'm going to add in all of my seasoning and just give it a really quick blend just to mix the seasoning in. If you're using a liquid stock and you want to substitute that for the powdered, you can put that liquid stock in to blend the cashews instead of with water. When the potatoes are tender, I've cooked them about 7 to 10 minutes. I'm going to pour in my corn. And I'm just going to let that come to a boil again. This is probably the most important part of the recipe because if you add a cashew cream in without bringing it up to a boil, you risk the chance of scorching it as the temperature is trying to come back up. When you pour cashew cream into boiling water, it allows it to thicken and thicken the soup up at the same time. So now we've brought our soup back to a rolling boil after putting the corn in. I'm going to leave it on high and I'm going to add in the cashew cream with the seasonings. Now what I want you to do is to constantly keep stirring it as long as you're going to have it on high. You want to bring up that temperature and you're also going to notice that it's going to start to thicken. Do not leave the pot at this process. Cashew cream will scald quite quickly and burn. So as long as that element is on high, then keep stirring the pot. All right, so now that I brought it back to a rolling boil, it's a fairly soupy consistency, but I like my soups really thick. So short of putting in twice as many potatoes and mashing some of them up, I will take sometimes 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. I've added in some cold water. I just stir it around. The trick with cornstarch is getting it in cold, same as the cashews, into a boiling hot pot. Immediately it's going to start to thicken up. This is completely optional, not necessarily part of the recipe, but it's something that I will do sometimes just to make it a really thick and hearty soup without having to put twice as much of the vegetables. As soon as you get the desired consistency of thickness in your soup, then you can take it off the heat and you can add salt and pepper to taste, however you like. Once you get to know this base and you've made it for a while, start adding other vegetables. Add carrots, add broccoli. Start with a squash base instead of a potato base, and it'll really make your soup making fun, and you can be experimental and have a soup day, and they all freeze exceptionally well. And there you have it, potato corn chowder. You can garnish with a little bit of onion, and it's ready to serve.